Welcome to Lislab. In the far north of Britain, beyond the reach of Rome's lasting control, there lived a people who left no written history of their own. They carved symbols into stone, built powerful kingdoms, defeated armies, and then, almost without explanation, vanished from the record. Tonight, we count down 10 enduring mysteries of the ancient Picts. Number 10. The Painted People. The Romans called them Picti, the painted ones. According to Roman writers, these northern warriors stained their bodies blue with woad, marked themselves with tattoos, and fought with an intensity that unsettled imperial commanders. But there is a problem. No Pict ever confirmed this. No Pictish text survives to tell us whether they truly painted their bodies, or whether Roman authors exaggerated the image to portray them as savage and uncivilized. Roman historians often amplified the strangeness of their enemies to magnify their own victories. It is possible that some Pictish warriors did decorate themselves for battle. Iron Age body art was not unknown in Britain, yet the image of naked blue-painted fighters may owe as much to Roman imagination as to reality. We still do not know how the Picts described themselves. Their very name may be an outsider's label. The question remains, were they truly painted people, or simply people painted by history? Number 9. The Stone Symbols. Across Scotland stand hundreds of carved stones bearing strange, repeated symbols. Double discs crossed by Z-rods, crescents pierced by V-rods. Fish, mirrors, beasts that resemble no known animal. Each combination appears deliberate, structured, repeated, and yet we cannot read a single one. Some scholars believe the symbols marked elite families or clans. Others argue they represent names, status, or territory. A more ambitious theory suggests they may form part of a lost written system, not a full alphabet, but a symbolic language with rules we have not yet cracked. The symbols appear suddenly in the archaeological record in the 5th century and disappear by the 10th. They leave no translation, no explanation, no key. Hundreds of messages survive. Not one has been definitively deciphered. Number 8. Ancient origins. Who were the Picts before they were called Picts? Medieval writers claim they came from distant lands, from Scythia, Thrace, even remote northern islands. Bede, writing in the 8th century, repeated stories that gave them exotic beginnings. Modern science tells a different story. Recent DNA analysis from Pictish burials suggests they were largely descended from local Iron Age populations of Britain. In other words, they were not foreign invaders. They were native to the land. Yet this clarity raises new questions. The genetic evidence shows regional variation. Pictish society was not a single uniform tribe, but a network of related groups. At some point, these communities formed a shared identity, strong enough for outsiders to recognize them as a distinct people. When did that happen, and what did they call themselves? We still do not know. Number 7. The Lost Language. The Picts carved stone. They built monuments. They ruled kingdoms. But they left no readable books. There is no surviving Pictish manuscript, no long inscription explaining their laws, their gods, or their kings. We do not have a single confirmed Pictish sentence. Most scholars believe they spoke a Celtic language related to Brythonic tongues, ancestors of Welsh and Cornish. Place names across eastern and northern Scotland support this view. For decades, some researchers propose something more radical, that Pictish may have been a pre-Celtic survival, a remnant of an older language lost elsewhere in Britain. Today, that theory is largely dismissed, but uncertainty remains. A handful of Ugham inscriptions have been found on Pictish stones, yet many are written in Old Irish, not clearly in Pictish itself. By the 10th century, Gaelic had spread across the region. Whatever language the Picts spoke disappeared quietly. We do not know its sound, its grammar, its poetry, or even its name. An entire voice gone. Number 6. Queens and kings. For generations, historians believe the Picts inherited power differently from their neighbours. Ancient sources suggested Pictish kingship passed through the female line. A king was said to be succeeded not by his son, but by his sister's son. This idea of matrilineal succession became widely accepted. It made the Picts seem unusual, distinct, structurally different, but archaeology complicates the story. Recent genetic studies from early medieval cemeteries suggest typical patterns of residence and marriage, not clear evidence of a strictly matrilocal or matrilineal society. Where did the tradition originate? Was it misunderstood by later chroniclers? Was it a political arrangement in specific cases rather than a universal rule? Or did the Picts operate a flexible system that later historians simplified? The mechanics of Pictish kingship remain debated. Number 5. The Roman Confrontation. In AD 83, according to the Roman historian Tacitus, the governor Agricola defeated a great Caledonian army at the Battle of Mons Graupius. The enemy leader was named Caligus. Tacitus describes it as a crushing Roman victory. But we have never found the battlefield. Despite archaeological surveys and decades of debate, no site has been definitively identified. Some scholars question whether Tacitus exaggerated the scale of the engagement or reshaped the narrative for political effect. The Romans built Hadrian's Wall, later the Antonine Wall, yet they never permanently subdued northern Britain. Did the Picts suffer a decisive defeat, or did they absorb the blow and continue resisting from beyond Rome's reach? Without a Pictish account, we have only one side of the story, and that side may not be complete. Number 4. Invaders from the north. After Rome withdrew, new threats emerged. In AD 685, the Picts defeated the Northumbrian king Ecgfrith at the Battle of Netchensmere, a victory that secured their dominance in northern Britain for decades. By the late 8th and 9th centuries, Viking raiders began striking Scotland's coasts. Norse settlements appeared in Orkney and Shetland, territories once linked to Pictish power. Archaeology reveals Norse-style artifacts in former Pictish strongholds. This suggests conflict, adaptation, or integration. Written sources are thin. Did Viking pressure destabilize Pictish kingdoms? Did elites fall in battle? Or did Norse and Pictish communities gradually merge? The transformation is visible. The explanation is not. Number 3. The Riddle of Sueno's Stone. In Fore stands Sueno's Stone, a towering 7-meter monument carved in the 9th or 10th century. On one side, a great Christian cross dominates the surface, framed by intricate knotwork. On the other, a detailed battle scene unfolds across panels, warriors, standards, severed heads. It is one of the most dramatic visual narratives in early medieval Britain. But what does it show? Some historians believe it commemorates a Pictish defeat. Others argue it marks a victory. Some link it to Norse conflict, others to internal struggles between Pictish factions. There is no inscription naming the event. The stone stands as a frozen moment of violence, a carved epic without a title. Number 2. The Hidden Hoard. In 1958, on St. Nian's Isle in Shetland, a young schoolboy uncovered a buried chest beneath the ruins of a medieval chapel. Inside were 28 pieces of Pictish silver, bowls, brooches, weapon fittings, and a rare liturgical spoon dating to around AD 800. The craftsmanship was extraordinary, but the hoard had been deliberately concealed. Was it hidden from Viking raiders, buried during political turmoil, offered as a religious deposit, or simply forgotten after the death of its owner? No written record explains it. The silver survived. Its story did not. Number 1. The Vanishing of the Picts. By the late 9th century, the name Pict begins to fade from written records. Their territories merge with those of the Scots. Later sources tell of a ruler named Kenneth uniting the kingdoms. Some traditions speak of conquest, others of political merger. No contemporary chronicle clearly describes a dramatic fall. Instead, something quieter may have happened. Over generations, elites adopted Gaelic language and identity. Cultural boundaries blurred. Pictish identity dissolved into what would become medieval Scotland. There is no single moment of destruction, no final battle recorded as the end. A people who challenged Rome, carved monuments, and ruled northern Britain for centuries did not explode into oblivion. They faded, and historians still debate whether they were conquered, assimilated, renamed, or simply transformed. The Picts did not vanish physically, they vanished in name. Which of these Pictish mysteries do you find the most compelling? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the unanswered questions of the Dark Ages, consider subscribing to ListLab for more historical countdowns.